Ja, herzlich willkommen zur neuen Ausgabe des E-Talk und ich muss es heute schnell machen. Wir haben ReGen III bei uns, Mark Redcliffe hier. Er sitzt in Vancouver, schönem Vancouver, möchte auch gerne mal wieder dort hin. Und ReGen III, erstens mal Konflikt of Interest, ich bin Aktionär. Und vielleicht alle, die sich noch erinnern können, wir haben ein Interview gehabt im Dezember, da waren wir irgendwo um die 30, 35 Cent. Wir haben dann einen super Run gehabt, rauf auf 1,90 und stehen jetzt um die 1,42. Also wirklich sehr, sehr gute Performance. Da geht es darum, um quasi Ölaufbereitung, das heißt, das Altöl wird aufbereitet wieder in neues Öl, ins gutes Öl und da gibt es dementsprechend auch Verträge und sie haben sensationelle Partner auch gebracht und wir haben, warum wir es ein bisschen beschleunigen müssen, ein bisschen nicht Internetprobleme, wir wissen es nicht genau, wo es liegt, aber das Zoom macht uns ein bisschen Probleme in letzter Zeit. Entweder passt das Audio nicht oder das Video nicht oder es fällt immer was aus. Aber werden wir mal sehen, wie weit das wir heute kommen. Mark, thank you for your time. You are based now in beautiful Vancouver. It's really a shame. The last time I was in Vancouver was January last year. So, but hopefully in the next few months I can come over again. And this is not only that we talk about your beautiful country, your beautiful town, it's more that we talk about your beautiful company and brings me to this perfect performance or really nice performance what we have since our last talk. And this brings me to a conflict of interest. I'm a shareholder of the company and I'm a happy shareholder. The last time when we talked was around end of November, beginning of December. There was a price of 30 cents, 35 cents. Then we have the beautiful run up. You're coming up with really great news. So with really great partners. That's end up in a really good share performance. But more important is for us is not the great performance in the past, is more the great performance in the future. So, and is this possible that we get another great performance? This is the big question. So, but before we talk about the future, maybe what was the reason why the company performed so well?
Well, I think first off, Joe, thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate the follow-up and welcome as a shareholder. We had a lot of things going on at the time, and of course, this is a big industrial project. It's a green project, and there wasn't a lot of attention being placed on our stock was the first thing. So I think that when we won the one of the TMX 50 companies, that was a nice nudge into the market. We also started shifting with the initiative behind the offtake agreement with BP. That was certainly a big boost of confidence for the company and for shareholders. So we have bankable counterparty as our offtaker. And we started to pivot from the smaller project in Alberta, which was on the old Parkland site, and we moved with our partner down into the US Gulf Coast. Of course, we were looking for the property at that point, and we had initiated talks on several sites, but ultimately we landed with oil tanking, which is headquartered out of Hamburg. So that's another nice tie back into Europe for us, and a very strong partner, a good family-run company. And with them, we've been working and advancing, obviously, through that LOI. Now we're moving on to the site services agreement, and we're completing an FEL2 engineering study on the tanks and connectivity to the marine terminal as well as to the rail terminal. And that's ongoing. That will be targeting the end of this month in September. Of course, on the back of all of this, we had a bought deal financing led by a syndicate, led by Paradigm Capital out of Canada, and that included Cormark, Haywood, and Canaccord. So that was oversubscribed, and we ended up taking 11.5 million Canadian into the coffers with reasonably minimal dilution. We brought in Tom Lawler recently as our COO, and Tom comes to us from Ovintiv, which is formerly Encana, so he has a lot of project development experience working with a large oil company. And we're doing a lot of additional work on the quantification of greenhouse gas credits. That work, we're in the process of engaging with a couple of entities right now, and we'd like to get those studies underway. And that's really to back up everything that we're doing on the financial modeling side, as well as how are we going to get the word out, how are we going to attack the market in a more robust, constructive way, not just.
But there was also one thing what's really changed for the shareholder view was you changed also the name from Gen 3 to ReGen III. So what was the major reason to do this?
Right. Well, another good question. We had an identity crisis, and I think that it didn't reflect what we did as a company. We don't make oil. We don't drill for oil. We're a waste handling clean tech company. We have a collection of technologies which are proven in the marketplace, and we refine things, we recycle things. So that was the nod to that. Why get rid of the Gen 3? It's a nod to Group 3 base oil and the regeneration. So effectively, it was time, and I think it's helped avoid a lot of the confusion. We were getting lumped in with dirty oil, and that's not what we are.
Mm-hmm. So how do you want to finance, for example, your Texas project?
Sure. Well, you're looking at 180 million US capex on this project. We're going to be doing it for the most part at the project level. Of course, as our stock rises, it becomes capital, but at the same time, our focus has been working with groups like Export Development Canada. We have a letter of interest from them. Obviously, we had a term sheet from them for the Alberta project, but they've recognized the momentum that we're getting with BP, with our work with oil tanking, actually with our signing of an agreement with Koch Project Solutions to lead and wrap the project. So with that continuous de-risking, the interest in larger amounts of debt, which you could probably reference the Paradigm report and see that this project has enormous cash flows. In fact, I think the analyst is quite conservative. He's put out an EBITDA of 190 million. Let's stick with those numbers now. And, knowing that you can service debt, 60 to 80% range, that is really where our focus is. And EDC is deep in the data room going through that. They've brought on a new project manager for us with experience in refining. And he's a wonderful gentleman. He's been with us for about a month. We have 3 directors at EDC working through this. We're also starting to take on different offers and opportunities from family offices and hedge funds, private equity for the actual equity component. And of course, we took in that 11.5 million Canadian in June from the bought deal, and we're applying a good chunk of that directly into the project engineering and final design right now. So we're knocking those things down. If you go and look at the asset itself, the site from oil tanking, there's an incredible amount of infrastructure there. If we had to go and replicate the infrastructure that we're going to utilize, you'd be north of $100 million to replace that. So conservatively said, look, let's take half of that, let's apply that, and show the finance groups that they are picking up. I don't know if this term dates me or not, but we pick a Cadillac or a Rolls-Royce site for a great partnership with these people, and we pay for it over time through service agreements and fees. But at least we're not having to expend that capex right now. There will be some dilution at the parent company, there is no doubt. Anybody who finances would like sweeteners in the form of options or warrants, but we're trying to keep that to a minimum.
I have the Paradigm Capital research in front of me, and they expect a revenue 23. Is this possible?
Right. Well, good question as well. You're looking at a $180 million CapEx project. It's going to take 18 months from the day we have the money in the bank. We're going through final due diligence with groups like EDC, Export Development Canada. We're in talks and we are receiving offers on the equity component of the project. So it's a math thing. It's literally, we know how long it's going to take to build. We're going to build it in controlled environments. And really the final gating item for us is wrestling the funding down to the ground. With a strong EBITDA, and I'll just reference the Paradigm report, you're looking at $190+ million in your first full year. And I still consider a conservative figure based on our contracts that we have in place with BP, et cetera. But if you take that as the goal line with 180 million, you know, we think that we can service debt in the range of 60 to 80% quite comfortably. And I think that the parties that are at the table feel that way as well. So it will be later in 2020.
What other news flow we can expect from your company beside the financing side of this project, and what other news flow we can expect in the next month from you?
Sure. Well, a couple of things that we've started to do is we're starting to put out videos, a lot of videos, and we're going to be doing that in English and German, potentially in Spanish. And we're trying to get a message out to the banking groups, to the ESG impact investment funds, to the marketplace. So there's going to be a sustained drive on expansion of our IR side of the business, which is something that we haven't done in the past. We spent the money on the engineering, put it into the ground effectively. You're going to see, touch wood, the completion of our site services agreement with oil tanking towards the end of this month, as well as a completion of a study, an engineering study, an FEL2 level study for the tanks and the interconnectivity to the marine terminal and to the rail terminal. And then hopefully we move into the FEL3. And the whole point of that is to ensure that we get permitting in place and we know who our partners are on the site. We're also talking to other parties about other facilities globally, and we've also been approached by BP to look at other sites in other locations. So there is going to be considerable amounts of news flow. Obviously, we just signed up with KPS and moved into our second phase of our three-phase relationship with them for the completion of engineering, oversight, and moving into that commissioning phase. And we also obviously brought on Tom Lawler as our COO. You're going to see additional people joining the team because we've run as a very lean shop over the past 3 years, and now is the time to bring in additional market expertise.
Understandable. So sorry that we lose you with the video. We have only now you on audio here. So that's mean for us. You do a really great job in the last 6 to 9 months. You make deals with BP, with oil tanking. You make financing. You do everything great to bring the project forward. Now it's the biggest point to bring or make the financing for the facility in Texas. So it's roughly 180 to 190 million. But the most of them is that, and from them, when you raise this money, we need around 18 months to set up and run the facility. Paradigm coming up with revenue 23, and this still possible. So that's mean the closing of the financing must be soon, I must say. And what you are also do is you increase your IR activities. So you are coming up with, you have now also the money, I must say. You have now much more meat on the bone, so that you can do a little bit more. And also the news flow is also from other possible facilities around the globe. So I think these are the major driver for the share price in the next future. Is this right?
Absolutely correct.
Perfect.
Good summary.
So perfect. Yeah, thank you, Mark, for the interview. I make now my German summary, and hopefully next time we can do the interview in person. Then we have no internet connection problems or Zoom problems. Hopefully next time we see us in person.
Thank you, Joe. I look forward to it, and we really do appreciate your interest as well as your audience's interest in what we're doing here at ReGen III.
Yeah. Thank you, Mark. Ja, das war ein Interview von Mark Redcliffe. Er ist der Executive Vice President in Corporate Financing von ReGen III. Wie schon im Intro gesagt, sensationelle Kursperformance. Letzten Dezember haben wir ein Interview gehabt. Sie haben wirklich das exekutiert, was sie auch gesagt haben. Sie haben einen Deal abgeschlossen mit BP, sie haben einen Deal abgeschlossen mit Oil Tanking. Es läuft eigentlich wunderbar. Jetzt geht es um die Finanzierung. 180, 190 Millionen brauchen sie. Das meiste ist natürlich Debt-Finanzierung. Aber sobald sie das Geld da haben, dauert es ungefähr 18 Monate, dass die Anlage auch in Betrieb ist, auch abgenommen, das heißt im Vollbetrieb. Deswegen ist es sehr wohl auch nach wie vor realistisch, dass Paradigm mit seinem Research, was rausgekommen ist, Kursziel übrigens 2,60, momentan sind wir bei 1,40, 2023 haben die einen Umsatz erwartet und das ist nach wie vor sehr realistisch. Was können wir noch erwarten ist, sie verstärken die EA-Aktivitäten. Sie wissen, dass sie noch unbekannt sind, sie müssen mehr tun in dem Sektor. Das ist positiv natürlich für einen Aktienkurs. Was ist noch positiv? Newsflow werden wir kriegen von anderen Aktivitäten noch. Also sie arbeiten nicht nur mit dem Deal, was sie haben in Texas, sondern auch noch mit anderen Sachen zusammen. Und also, dass sie rund um die Welt neue Projekte auch noch hinbekommen, das finde ich extrem spannend auch. Und sie wollen auch, das hat er auch gesagt, mehr Mitarbeiter aufnehmen, die einfach mehr Erfahrung haben. Nicht Erfahrung, es wäre jetzt falsch. Sie brauchen mehr Manpower, damit sie die Projekte auch umsetzen können. Also logisch, man kann das dann nachher nicht mehr machen. Je größer das man wird, umso mehr Mitarbeiter braucht man. So ist es halt einfach. Und sie haben ja auch einen neuen COO von einem Ex-Kahnemann, sehr große Company damals oder ist nach wie vor eine große Company und das zeigt natürlich auch, dass sie in dem Markt auch wahrgenommen werden und das ist extrem wichtig für die weitere Performance. Ja, das war's von ReGen III. Sorry nochmal wegen die ganzen Probleme, liegt nicht an uns, es dürfte irgendwo der Wurm drinnen sein, es ist auch schon das zweite Interview, irgendwie will die Welt nicht, dass wir zusammen ein vernünftiges Interview machen. Es gibt immer irgendwelche technische Probleme und schauen wir mal, ob das jetzt auch dann hoffentlich geklappt hat. So, das war's für heute. Heute ist der 14. September 2021 und das war ein Interview mit Mark Redcliffe von ReGen III. Tschüss und Baba, pfiat euch.